I hate everything about you.
Huh? What do you mean?
I only live with my own family. So leave. Right now.
To my surprise, my in-laws decided to kick me out. My husband, Jason, had even politely prepared divorce paper for me to sign.
I've already filled out my part. Hurry up and sign the papers.
It was something I didn't wish for, but it was an opportunity for me. I signed the divorce paper as soon as I received them. My name is Anne, and I'm a 34-year-old housewife. I have been married to my husband Jason for 5 years. We have no children and have lived alone as a couple all these years. After graduating from college, Jason got a job at a company. But it was a company with terrible working conditions, where he had to work from early in the morning until late at night every single day, which was mentally and physically difficult for him. I started looking for a job that I could do from home to see if there was anything I could do to help for Jason. At first, I earned the same amount I would at the part-time job by doing some jobs like data entry tasks. And from then on, I began to study editing videos on my own, and as I gradually began to receive jobs from clients, I was able to make savings more. Having saved up more money, I started to do investment. My everyday life would consist of studying and doing investments to gain some experience, and then to also save up money from my video editing jobs. After a few years of living this way, I was able to make quite a bit of money from my investment. What I did was FX. Although there were risks, it seems to be a good fit for me because I was earning money from home every day and could always look at my computer screen to see the status of the stock prices. I told Jason that I could try to cover for the rent so that he wouldn't have to pressure himself into it. At first, Jason looked at me with a puzzled look.
No. Our finances are running smoothly because of my work. What you earn from your editing video works are only pocket money, right?
I actually made some money, and I have quite a bit of income from my investment.
Huh?
So you don't have to force yourself to work for that company with terrible working conditions. And you can just change jobs.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you for all the hard work you have done up until now. Jason looked very pleased, and later happily told me that he had submitted his resignation letter to the company. I'm happy too, if this makes Jason feel better, and I hope it will further improve our relationship as a married couple in the future. However, our relationship took an unexpected turn.
Hey, can we move in with my parents?
Huh? Well, wait a minute.
Do you mean that we're moving to your parents' house?
You know that even if you change jobs, with my earnings, we can totally live like this together, So there's no need for us to go all the way to your parents' house.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, we can rent a room in the new condo, and we are all going to live together.
Huh?
Take a look at this. With that, Jason brought a flyer for a recently built tower condo. Are you perhaps thinking of living there? I'm finally able to take a good care of my parents by doing this.
No. Now, wait a minute. The rent is $5,000. That's too expensive.
But you're earning money through investments, right? You can afford it easily.
But it was certainly not impossible. But it's not like I was dying to live life like a rich person.
And I wanted to save up for our child in the future, if I ever had one.
Besides, I didn't expect to live with my parents-in-law.
And it would only be normal for Jason to use the money he earned to take care of his own parents. I was a bit disappointed because I felt like he was using me for his own convenience.
Do we really have to live with your parents-in-law?
What? You don't want to? Well, they are still in good health, right? Even Frank has a couple of years left before he retires. I've been working so hard at that terrible company that I haven't been able to give much attention to them. Please help out for me.
Jason had asked me to do so, and I reluctantly agreed. But as I had expected, this would turn out to be the biggest bad choice of my life. Wow! What an amazing place!
The scenery is amazing and beautiful. I'm glad that you both are happy about this place.
My parents-in-law are overjoyed with their new life in the tower condo. They were very excited the whole day when they first moved in.
I am so proud of you, Jason. You must be making so much money to be able to afford such a luxurious lifestyle. Yeah.
I was right beside my husband and poked him with my elbow.
Jason awkwardly told them about the rent for this room is not paid from his earnings.
Hearing that, both the in-laws had the huh face.
Actually, Anne is the one who is earning the money from investments, and from her earnings, we're paying the rent.
What?
So it's not from your earnings, Jason? Oh, it's Anne's earnings.
My in-laws were shocked to hear this.
But I'm glad Jason told them right now rather than later, instead of them finding out as a lie in the end.
At first, the in-laws were being apologetic, especially to me. I feel like I was making them feel uncomfortable too, and I felt sorry for that as well. For this reason, I told my husband to tell my in-laws not to worry too much. Since I originally started this to help Jason, who was having a hard time at work, I thought it would also be a good idea if my parents-in-law could live freely, which would also make Jason happy too. But my in-laws were pretty extreme. After my husband told them this, my parents-in-law became extremely bold. And I actually like my pasta to be a bit more softer. Anne, please bring me beer. Oh, and mayonnaise too. I would like to have this brand bag.
So can you buy it for me, Anne? And I like a golf club.
My in-laws treat me as if I were a housemaker who earns a lot of money for them.
Well, I'll do my best with housework, but I can't really help out that much.
I would like to do my best, as a wife, to take care of the house chores as best as I can. But if we are not properly strict when it comes to money, they will be spoiled. So I will never spoil my in-laws. I stubbornly refused the request of my in-laws. Then my in-laws became more and more grumpy towards me and started complaining to Jason about me.
How come she's at home all the time? She says she earns a lot, but I doubt it. I bet it's not work, but she's just gambling. I can't believe she's been showing her proud face, when all this time she's just being gambling.
She's only just lucky. It seems like that's what they have been talking to Jason behind my back. As for Jason,
he changed jobs and got a job that pays less but doesn't require overtime. He no longer had to pay rent or living expenses and could spend his entire salary freely. As a result, his clothes became more and more fancy, and he always wore a tailor-made suit. And he buys everything from brand shoes to bags. Jason, who has always loved fashion, was happy to be able to spend money on his own fashion. Since Jason lived freely, my parents-in-law complained to him about why they couldn't live like that and afford a luxurious item. Which is why he tells me to go buy things for my parents-in-laws as part of taking care of them. But I never said yes to that. If you want to take care of them, why don't you do it for them? Because now you've been using your salary freely, so you can use it on them. Actually, it's a good opportunity to show how much you care about them. My husband frowned when I said that. He couldn't talk back because what I said was right. But if he were to buy all sorts of things for his parents, he would not be able to afford his own luxurious, so he can't take care of them. Which is why he's asking me to take care of them. But since I refuse to do so, Jason has recently become more and more harsh towards me. You've stuck in front of a computer all the time. But you are done as a woman if you don't even wear makeup anymore. You think that you don't have to worry about it because you are at home all the time, right? If you keep dressing like this, we won't be a good match with each other anymore. No, hold on a minute. What do you mean we won't be a good match? We're always at home. So not matching is not even the point. Don't you think so? That's how women like you get uglier and uglier. You should always strive to be beautiful. And Jason began to say horrible words to me at every chance he had. My in-laws saw this and gradually began to complain directly to me. Why can't you cook better? You may be able to make money, but you're no good as a wife if you can't do your chores properly. You should do your job as a wife properly. This is what both my in-laws would say to me. As you can imagine, I was ticked off too. So I started talking back to them. But it is thanks to me and my earnings that you're all able to live like this now. I think that is the most important thing. I mean, Beth, you're physically healthy and also not working, but you don't do any housework, right? And Frank, you quit your job, right? What would happen to you if I'm gone? I'm not asking you to respect me or anything, but I don't deserve to be complained like this. When I said this, my in-laws were shaking, with their faces turning red and unable to say anything. What I said was completely right. After that, my in-laws started talking behind my back to Jason when I wasn't around. But their voices were loud, so I could hear them talk about me when they were all in the living room. Who does she think she is? That woman. She makes fun of us all the time, and it really pisses me off. Even the other day, she was saying things to us as if she was making fun of us. She changed. She got cocky just because she made money from gambling. I mean, if she can make that much money, we should be able to make a lot of money. If we study a little and do FX, right? Yes, you're right. I mean, she did it, so we can do it too. Yeah, we should start doing it now. I couldn't believe my eyes. Investing
is quite different from gambling. It is not something that can be earned with a little bit of studying. I mean, Frank and Jason, who were company employees, should know better what it is. After that, both my in-laws and my husband became extremely hostile and even competitive toward me. Even while eating breakfast, they would say, "Oh, I have to check the stock price. I have to check it before someone else does." And they would put their laptop on the dining table and start checking. I'm beginning to think that I'm not wanted in this family if they were going to be hostile towards me like that. And in the midst of all this, I would witness an unexpected shocking truth. It happened one day when I was out with a friend for a change. I was told that there was an event for my favorite anime. So I took a break from all the work I had and went out. And then I happened to see my husband. It was in front of a brand store. He was just getting out of the store. He bought another branded product again. He should stop buying luxury and invest instead. As I gazed blankly at my husband with this thought in my mind, a young woman came out from behind him and began to tangle her arms around him. I panicked and hid in the shadows with my friend. Then I took out my phone and took photos. I was completely shocked at what I had seen. I knew that although my relationship with Jason wasn't good, I didn't expect to be this bad. That's because I thought that he loved me properly as his wife, even if we weren't in a good term. But I thought wrong. My husband was having an intimate relationship, not with me, but with a different young woman. I felt as if something had snapped inside me. I don't want to be with a guy like that anymore. And I don't want to live with his parents either. From that day on, I started looking for a single-room apartment for my own, for myself to live in. And I stopped taking care of my in-laws and also stopped doing housework. I wondered why I should even do it. And from this, I stopped doing it altogether. My in-laws were completely furious with me. Jason was also angry with me. And one day, I was suddenly summoned by them. "What's with your attitude lately? Every single thing you do or say makes me angry.
You're too cocky for a wife. Mom and Dad are right. You're getting a little carried away."
And Beth started to raise her voice. "I hate everything about you." "Huh? What do you mean?" "I only live with my own family. So leave, right now." To my surprise, my in-laws decided to kick me out. My husband Jason had even politely prepared divorce papers for me to sign.
"I've already filled out my part. Hurry up and sign the papers."
It was something I didn't wish for, but it was an opportunity for me. I signed the divorce papers as soon as I received them.
"Well then, just get out quickly."
"Okay," I said, as I began to pack my bags.
"Now, this house will finally be ours. Now she's out of the way. Let's have some expensive dinner to celebrate."
The in-laws started to talk in a loud voice again so that I could hear them. I packed my bags without a care in the world. For now, I will take only what I need. I'll call the conductor to pick up the rest of my belongings on another day. As I said this, my in-laws looked at me with a victorious look on their faces and laughed and said,
"Do it as fast as you can. It's very strange how people can be so smug. When you think about it calmly, it's them who would be the one losing. I mean, I guess they're just stupid. Well, anyways, I will prepare and get ready to show them what hell is. I went back to my parents' house for the time being. Then, I went with the conductor to the tower condo and had the rest of my stuff hauled away. So now, this room is completely ours, Jason says with the huge grin on his face. I said, "Oh, by the way, we haven't finished talking about divorce yet." And I put the evidence of Jason's affair in front of him that I had received from the detective agency. Jason was completely mortified by the photographic evidence of his own affair. "We will get a divorce, but after I get the proper alimony for what you've done." My parents-in-law had no idea that their own son was having an affair, and their faces were pale. No way! How come you know about my affair?" "You just thought that you wouldn't get caught because I was always home." "You weren't an idiot for walking around town with her arms around you confidently." "Let's talk about the rest through our lawyers." My in-laws interrupted me when I said that. "Jason, ignore what this woman says, because we have a shot of getting back at her." You're right. What did she mean by having a shot of getting back at me? Then Jason said something that surprised me. "If I invest about $50,000 in margin trading, that's hundreds of $1,000s all at once." "You are in big trouble if you gamble like that." I was about to advise them, but decided not to. "Because you make mistakes, you gain knowledge and practical ways to invest. It will be expensive, but a good way to learn for Jason and his parents. I hope it all goes well." I said this and headed for the front door to leave the house. They all went out of their way to follow me and said, "Now I won't be disrespected by you, and I'll be more successful than you." I ignored them and went straight out of the house and back to my parents' house. Later, through my lawyer, I filed a claim for alimony against my husband and his mistress. I demanded that it was Jason's fault and that there would be no division of property. According to the lawyer, they looked like they could afford it, and they generously agreed to pay me at once. And they agreed for no divisions of property. Perhaps they had a successful merchant deal? I thought so. But apparently, they had not done it yet, and planned to do so after paying the alimony. Well, for my part, I'm grateful that I didn't have to pay any money to them. The alimony was successfully paid at once, and I decided to invest the money. Thanks to this, I was able to earn money from investments again and saved even more. And I began living in an apartment. I didn't need the place to be a tower condo, so I just bought a regular apartment. From then on, I spent my days freely on my own. Then, out of the blue, my ex-husband contacted me, thinking I forgot to block the call. I had no choice but to answer the phone. "Hello? Anne? Help me." "What happened?" "I screwed up big time in margin trading and lost $50,000. I'm completely in debt." "Oh, what a disaster." "How could you gamble like this and win all these years?" You know, for the record, I wasn't really gambling. I studied it properly, made a lot of calculation and predictions, and invested properly. If you just invest randomly, like trying to win the lottery, you won't be able to get any money. No way. Anne, please come back. If this continues, we will have to terminate the contract for $5,000 tower condo. That's probably the best, don't you think? Because, first of all, you can't do it with your earnings. But my mom and dad aren't convinced. And they are going to tell me that I can do it the next time. And they will force me to do another merging trading. Oh dear, you'd better stop them. But well, it's no longer my business. And now it's your responsibility to take care of your parents now. Bye. Hey! I said this as I hang up the phone. In the end, our mutual friend told me that after that, his parents really did another merchant trading, which failed and put them all in debt for another $30,000. Of course, their beloved tower condo was terminated. Since it was originally rented in the name under Jason, that wasn't a hassle for me at all. Jason and his family are now all in debt, and Jason had to put all his income towards repaying the debt, which apparently caused his mistress to abandon him. Eventually, Jason had to work from morning to night, living a life like he did previously. Supposedly, his parents are also working now to pay off their debts. It's all what they deserved. And I have no sympathy for them whatsoever. At any rate, now they know what investments is all about. Well, it doesn't really matter now though, because they won't be able to save enough money to do any more investment in the future. On the other hand, I'm still making good money through investment and have earned enough, so that I no longer have to work. From now on, I intend to increase my hobbies and lead a comfortable semi-retired life. Why do these men look down on their wives and think they are more capable than they are? I think that admitting defeat easily and supporting a wife who can make money would result in a happier relationship. Well, he was a man who'd cheat on his own wife, so that means he was an idiot who just couldn't help himself. I'm so glad that the main character had left her husband. I hope she enjoys her semi-retirement to the fullest. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.
My name is Carla. My favorite boy band since high school just broken up. I'm 50 years old, who watched the live DVD with nostalgia as I sip beer every night. You may ridicule me for my nostalgic nature, but I can't help it. I will be grateful if you could accept me the way I am. Today, I would like to tell you a story from 5 years ago, when my beloved boy band was still not disbanded. I was living a peaceful life with my husband Jason, who was same age as me. But then, he suddenly started to pay more attention to his appearance. Isn't that a good thing? Yes, of course. That is if he was a regular guy. Jason had always been a very lazy, nerdy guy. He was a bit better before we got married. I wouldn't have had taken a super lazy man for a husband. No, but he was still a nerd. As far as I was concerned, I believed that men should be a little nerdy so that they wouldn't play around. Hence, I decided on Jason. When I was younger, I dated good-looking, stylish older guy who ended up cheating on me. I had learned to pick a man not by his look, but by his personality. I know I'm totally biased. I stayed away from guys who were stylish, cultured with French cuisine and Italian wine, and thoughtful. This is how I chose my husband. I didn't mind that Jason gradually became more carefree and sloppier after our marriage, as long as he was kind and treated me well. I didn't know what happened to a guy like that all of a sudden. He started wearing plaid shirts and a pair of damaged jeans. Sometimes he wore a twisted scarf around his neck too. Let's leave aside the fact that his choices were unquestionably bad taste. T-shirts and high-rise jeans used to be his normal attires. If you had given him a suspender and a pair of glasses, he would have had looked like the guy from Family Matters. But he changed just like that. It was natural for me to wonder what happened. He even started to spend more than 10 minutes to style his hair in the mornings. He obsessed with covering his baldness. You don't have that much hair. If the wind blew, all your effort would be a waste. There's not much different anyway. Instead of telling him that, I commented, "You've been looking stylish lately." He happily replied, "Right?" He only said it was a change of his mood. The reason for the change was exactly what I wanted to find out. I knew something was up. I decided to let him carry on with his tasteless style for a month or so. He also became consumed on his computer. He couldn't even hear me asking what he wanted for dinner every night. "Hey, hon? Hello?" I tapped him on the shoulder. "What the? Don't touch me!" I was so shocked when he shoved my hand away. Not sure if Jason thought he had gone too far, but he made an awkward face. "If you need me, just call out." He didn't hear me, so I tapped him on the shoulder. He locked his computer and walked out of the living room, leaving me in dismay. I thought he was on his computer for longer than usual those days. He was engrossed in screen even when he got home late or on his days off. I understood that he wasn't allowed to stay overtime, so he brought his work home. But it was absolutely strange to see all those changes. If he was working on his PC, I would have supposed he would plug in a USB, but there was no external device around. In short, he didn't seem to be working. Besides, he often looked too relaxed with a beer in his hand while on his computer. It was very odd. I could smell something foul. Just as I was thinking about it lightheartedly, crisis happened 3 days later. "I've been thinking, why don't we separate?" Jason suggested improperly in front of a cake and champagne. It was my birthday. I assumed Jason had forgotten, so I prepared my own cake and champagne to celebrate myself. But what outrageous words had came out of his mouth. "You and I are both 45 this year. We've been together since our 20s. I suppose you've been thinking to live your own life too." "Nope. I just wanted to live a leisurely retirement. That was all." I had never been awakened by such a thought. "I think there are feelings for each other that can only be realized when you're alone. We've been awkward lately anyway." I may have thought that housework would be easier without a lazy husband, but you're the only one feeling awkward, you know. "Besides, my mom is getting old. I'd rather live with her and look after her for her remaining life. I think it would be an opportunity for us to find a new relationship with each other." Jason seemed adamant with his proposal as if to say it was such a great idea. He added, "I want you to think about it." I was flabbergasted with his life-changing suggestion that I couldn't make a word for a moment. I squeezed out, "Let me think about it." Oh, my head hurts. This is the worst birthday ever. When I thought about staying in a loveless, dysfunctional relationship, I honestly agreed with separation. I did care about Jason, even though he was balding and was nerdy. But if he didn't feel the same way, then what choice did I have? Tied him to a chair and dangled a coin in front of him and hypnotized him to love me again. If that really worked, I would have resisted separation. How he said, it sounded more like the end. That's why I asked for time to think. He had been obviously tacky. Not tacky, but strange. He had become fashionably tacky and treated me as if I was something dirty. He was right. Our relationship turned awkward. I sensed one possibility from all, including him being glued to his computer for a long time. He definitely has another woman. If that was the case, instead of thinking about separation, I needed time to gather evidence. I wasn't just going over and over the issue. I was deliberately careful. I was actually coming up with an organized plan. I decided to look into his computer right after while he was at work. It was locked, but I knew what kind of password he used. I assumed it was his birthday. Sure enough, he really had set his birthday as a password. So easy. Too obvious. You guys, be careful. If you set your birthday as a password, it will be easily unlocked. After effortless unlocking it, I looked at the data as if it were my own. The desktop was organized, and there was nothing work-related as expected. There had to be something to make him glued to the computer. I opened his mail and couldn't help but laugh out loud. A few days later, I extracted the data from his computer to USB and headed for his mother's house with my laptop. "Hi, Carla. It's been a while. You're alone? Where's Jason?" "Never mind. Come inside." It had been 2 years since she lost her husband. She still felt lonely living without him. When she saw me, she gave me a bright smile. I entered the house as prompted. "I've come to talk to you about something today." "Oh, what's the matter?" "If I could be any help, I would." I told her what happened on my birthday and how weird Jason had been acting lately. After hearing everything, she said, "That bastard. He met another woman." Not bothering to hide her disgust, she sat back on the sofa with her arms crossed. "I think so. Please have a look at this." I plugged the USB into my laptop and showed her all the evidence I collected. "Ha ha ha! This is ridiculous." "Right? Now here's my request. Will you help me cornering Jason?" "Of course. It's too upsetting to keep quiet." "Do you have a plan? Should I call him over?" "Yes, I do. Let's call him over." I told her about my plan, which she agreed and called Jason. "I want to talk to you about something, so come over to my house." I assumed he was no longer going to follow my invitation. Even if the two of us had a talk at home, I was skeptical that he was going to listen to the woman he despised. Unless I was agreeable to the point of "let's separate, let's do it," I doubt that we could have had a proper conversation. Hence, I asked his mother to be in the middle. Without knowing anything, Jason came over asking, "What's going on?" Day by day, it took him longer and longer to style his hair. Even this morning, it took him almost an hour to be ready. Despite his effort, it was completely flattened and became shiny barcode hair. And yet, strangely enough, he was wearing his bangs in fashionable way. Wait, it wasn't fashionable. He looked creepier that he swept his bangs to the side. Darn, it was really bad. He didn't notice that I was staring at his hair. As soon as he saw me, "Caller? You're here too," he said in surprise. "Hi," I said lightheartedly. "I want to talk to you about something, so I consulted with your mother first. It's about our separation." "Jason, you are so thoughtful. I can't believe you are willing to live with your old mother. It's getting hard for me to do the housework anyway. I will leave everything to you. You are such a devoted son." "What?" She was enjoying the situation a little too much, that she was getting theatrical. Jason turned pale as if to say, "I didn't mean that." "Yeah, he wants to live with you and look after you from now on, instead of living with me, you know. That shows his strong determination to take care of everything in your life." "Wait, no!" His mother didn't let Jason's feeble denial go unnoticed. "What? No? Were you planning to leave everything to the elderly and live a lazy life?" His mother asked angrily. Jason mumbled, "Well," with shifty eyes. "It's not that. You met another woman, right? Don't deny, because I already know everything." "What? You knew?" He looked astounded. "Don't underestimate me. I have proof too." He was dismayed. "No excuse if you already know. Yes, I want to start my life over with Linda," he confessed. "What is it about Linda that you're so attracted to? She's the one you choose to leave me for. Tell me." At my harsh question, Jason hesitated for a moment and then answered, "She accepts me for who I am." "I see. And then?" "There is something sexy and very feminine about her. It's been a long time since I felt my heart pounding. She is quite assertive too. She gives me a hope that I can still feel this way at my age." "Good for you. Anything else?" "What? Yeah. I'm not young anymore, but she says I'm good looking. She likes the way I dress and the way I look. I know it's flattery, but it makes me happy." For many reasons, I couldn't hold back my laughter, but I tried my best to hold it in. A giggle escaped from his mother, but I spoke over it to hide from Jason. "She likes your face?" "Huh?" I'm embarrassed. It may be out of politeness, but she really gives me self-assurance. Like she's holding me in her arms. It's soothing." I see. Where did you meet her?" "Well, she sent me an email by mistake." "Oh, and have you taken her on a date?" "Not yet. She hasn't separated with her husband, so we decided to be patient." I see. By the way, have you heard of catfishing? Huh? The way you guys met was by email, right? Yes. Did you even check the sender's address? That was a spam mail from a dating site. Didn't she send you a URL to continue chatting with her? Weren't you told to register on the site and pay a monthly fee?
Yes, but it was just that she needed to use the site to hide from her husband.
Yep, that's the trick.
No way! She sent me a picture of her.
Is this it? I showed him the picture of Linda I got from his mail, and a picture of Mary I found on some blog. Those were the same pictures. Obviously, the dating site had taken the picture of Mary without her consent. As expected, the shady site ignored the law and did whatever it could to con people.
Wait, Linda? No, Mary? What do you mean?
I mean, you were swindled by catfishing and paid the membership and a monthly fee. I never thought anyone would be tricked by such a site nowadays. You should have used the money to buy hair growth products instead. I couldn't contain my laughter and burst out. No, Carla! Jason's mother pretended to stop me, but also laughed out loud. Jason, who had been mocked by the two women, looked inconceivable and kept mumbling,
No way!
She was ecstatic when I asked her to move in with me. Thank you, Jacob. I would love to someday. What kind of home cooking do you like? When I read out Linda's reply to Jason's suggestion, his eyes widened. She called you Jacob, not Jason. And she even passed over the subject of moving in together. It's the same for meeting up. She keeps dodging your questions to get you to pay more, right? You should have noticed, idiot.
Hey!
He was trembling. What was it? Sexy and assertive? Let's see. There were a sultry picture of her. Those were stolen from others as well. Her face wasn't even shown. Couldn't you tell that the body shape clearly didn't match? She looked more voluptuous than the pictures with her face. It was all just a bunch of little tricks that could have been noticed without looking in details. Thanks to people like Jason, who could be easily fooled, this kind of site still existed. I felt like I saw the darkness of the modern world.
No! No way!
Well, take it whichever way you like, truth or deception. What was it, a separation? Okay, let's not just separate, but divorce. Sign this. I presented the signed divorce papers without hesitation. His face was already as white as a ghost, but turned even whiter.
I apologize!
He exclaimed.
I've been out of my mind.
I agree.
I'm gonna break up. No, quit the site. Please forgive me for what I did.
You really are crazy. I quickly responded, but he didn't give up.
Wait! Don't leave me alone.
You're going to live with your mother, aren't you? I will be waiting for you with a messy house. You will have to do all the housework. His mother was more than happy to be on my side. She once said she always wanted to fix her son's laziness, but she didn't manage to do so. This is her chance to teach him in a hard way. I'm sure she would purposely make a mess and wait for him.
No. You know, I'm not moving in with you, Mom. I was supposed to live with Linda. If you divorced me, I would be all alone.
Why don't you just live with your computer? Linda is in it anyway. Well, the real person is probably a man, though. I'd heard that catfishing was often done by the same sex, as they understand the feelings better. So I'm quite certain that Linda was a healthy male who worked for good money. Ha ha ha! I wish you a passionate life with your computer, my ex-husband. Jason's mother burst out laughing, and I was also hysterical. Jason crumbled down to the floor with a miserable look on his face. 2 days later, Jason signed the divorce papers mindlessly. He was depressed and looked as if his spirit has been drained. Because there was no adultery, I asked for the house and all the belongings instead of alimony. If he had been his usual self, he would never have given me anything. He was so spaced out that he didn't even hear my words. He just agreed to whatever I asked in a rapid succession. And I got what I wanted. Way to go! I even wanted to thank Linda, who was actually a man, for making him so bewildered. On the third day, I let him keep the computer, which has so many memories of Mr. Linder for him, and kicked him out of the house. He didn't have a place to stay, so he went back to his mother's. By coincidence, he can not only live with Mr. Linda, but take care of his mother. Good for him. He should have thanked me for letting him keep the computer. Yes, right. 5 years have passed since then. I love Jason's mother like my own, so we still keep in touch. She told me that Jason became completely bald from the stress. Ironically, he seems to have a bright future ahead of him. Congratulations, good for you. Apparently, the neighborhood kids called him Shiny. I laughed at the child's direct but innocent wickedness. Jason's mother, too. Hey, Shiny, hurry up! Mocks him playfully in public. So the mother of the children thought it was okay to call him that as well. They greet him, Good morning, Mr. Shiny. It has unexpectedly become an official name for him. Of course, there is no sign of Mr. Shiny to remarry. Mr. Linda has become his last love. Well, I'm sorry for your loss. On the other hand, I'm working part-time as a cashier at a nearby supermarket. I was getting a little bored with my unstimulating life that I joined a senior circle. We have dinner, drinks, and karaoke competitions. I'm pleasantly surprised to know that I can make new friends even at my age. I'm enjoying my life every day. The other day, I had a luxurious karaoke contest with people who used to like the same boy band. We are able to share our good and bad times in the past. It's really nice to be surrounded by good friends. By the way, I'm a good singer. I've won every karaoke contest that I regularly make extra income. I win cash prizes every time. My life isn't like Great Expectations or Move Up the Career Ladder or Sail on the Open Sea. It's not a glamorous life, but it's a great second life. I learned from the bad example of my ex-husband that I will always take care of my hair. Yes, right.